Hello, welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thank you very much for joining me as I explore this amazing, incredible wide world of pens. Yep, you see 4 pens in front of you. A viewer is very interested in my PenBBS collection, so over time I will show all the pens I have of a certain model. I've collected north of 150 PenBBS pens, so there'll be many videos. You may recognize this model. One of the things that gives it away is, as you can see from these transparent models, there's a spring in there. This is also a flat top, flat bottom metal finials, both top and bottom. A sword clip, which is used on most of the newer models, and newer I use in a very liberal term. So let's explore these. So here's what the models are. It's easier for me to put up a little text here rather than trying to remember. But Aurora and Quarterite have a little bit of translucency to them. I think it's transparency, but there's a lot of distinctions between those two terms that talk about and describe the amount of light that passes through a substance. All of these 4 colors I think are very, very good and unique, and I think they work well in this model. But this model never really became an everyday carry. I had a few of them inked up for a while. I think ergonomically, they're not the best design that PenBBS has ever made. So let's dive in and look at these, and you can decide for yourself whether this is something you might like. So let's start with this, which is Southshore. So nothing on the top finial. PenBBS is good with their plating. It's always very consistent. Feels substantial, feels like it'll last for a while. And as many of the PenBBS models, it's engraved on the cap band. The cap band extends beyond the base of the cap. Takes your normal 1.5 to 1 3/4 turns. Yeah, this one has your standard monotone, and that looks like an E for extra fine, and that certainly looks like a fine, extra fine nib, standard feed. What is kind of unique about this pen is there's this band here, which is also engraved, made in China, Shanghai. Interesting that Shanghai is all caps and made in China is all small letters. You know, if you had this pen in your hand, you may ask, how do you fill it? It's been a while since I've used these pens, so I think you unscrew this top finial, and this pops up and allows you to engage, and you turn it clockwise to engage, and then you can activate the piston. And this one's a little stiff. I don't know whether I ever even inked this one up. One of the downsides, I have to take it apart. But what's nice is you can unscrew the section that comes out. So I'll be able to go in there and, you know, nudge that piston, get it moving, see what we can do. But that's the design, and you can see with an opaque barrel, you got to remember how to fill it, because if you didn't know, it might take you a while, but I think they came with instructions. I'll see if I can find the box. So with the Southshore model, I wasn't able to actually show how this filling system works. So again, we unscrew this piece at the back of the barrel. Once it unscrews, it comes all the way up. Yeah, one of the reasons why I may not have liked this design. And you turn it clockwise to have this piston become attached to the piston inside, and then you would push down And this one I'm able to move. So you push down that piston, put the nib in ink, submerge it, release, and it pops up. So basically it works like a piston filler, except you don't have to turn some knob. You have this device. I think it's unnecessary complication to a filling system. It's not like you get any more ink, like with a vacuum filler or a draw filler, than you would with a normal piston filler. But PenBBS explored many, many different filling systems. And yes, this is Aurora resin, one of my favorites. So then you turn it counterclockwise or this way. It releases from the piston, so now this does not activate the piston anymore. You put this little piece in there, and you turn it clockwise like you normally would do to screw it in to the barrel. And that's it. So I just wanted to show you Quarterite, another nice resin which I like. With it, I like the little subtle lines of color in there. This is kind of in the gray-blue family, where the Aurora is in the green family. And of course, this one, which I forget the name of, it's one of the later resins that PenBBS started using. I count resins that they number above 100 as the newer style. But it does have some translucency to it, so it's easier to understand the filling system with this. And I do really like the color. There's very few pens that have this type of colored resin in it. It has a little bit of metallic sheen, really nice, deep. Is it blue? Is it purple? Yeah, maybe your color vision is better than mine. At one time, I had 5 PenBBS 500 pens. The fifth pen was in Niango, and I do show it in one of those reviews that I reference in the video description. But my great pen friend Dean said she was interested in the pen, and Dean and I have exchanged many pens over the years, so I was very, very happy to send my 500 Niango to her. And it has a good home now, and it's loved more than I could love it, which is important in the life of a pen and your relationship to the pen. So I'm happy to have done that, and maybe these other 500s will find a new home too. Who knows? So one of the things that this design illustrates is PenBBS, when their design of many of their pens, seems to not take into account making any type of dimensional changes which would make the pen a good poster. And this pen is a good example of that. It looks like the cap would post well, and there's no piston cap or anything here that would interfere, but when you try to post it, it doesn't really go on deep. You expect it maybe to go down to this little depression there, but it doesn't, because that makes for an extremely long pen. Extremely back-weighted, not a pleasant writing experience in my hand, posted. But like many other PenBBS models, like I say, they don't really consider posting part of their designing criteria, and it would have been very easy to just take a 0.5 millimeter off the diameter of this end of the barrel, and the cap could have posted down to a little bit more reasonable posted length and maybe be more usable, but they didn't do that. Well, I needed to look to see how many PenBBS 500 pens are available. I went to the official store on Etsy, but it was closed, so I then went to eBay. And the search was not really very good, because apparently PenBBS 500 search didn't exclude all the other ones. But this pen is available mostly in this particular color. And there's a lot of them, and some of them are fairly expensive and some of them are fairly reasonable. You know, I don't know why this one color still exists. Maybe because it wasn't popular. Who knows? And then when I was looking at it, I saw this lemon cookie 456 for sale in a lot of places. I'm amazed to see that it was still available like that. And the Long 37 has a store on Parcel Up. It's basically a gateway into Taboo. And he's the guy who runs PenBBS, at least that's what I understand. And there's a fair number of 500s available on Parcel Up, much more than you can find on the other sites that I looked at. And here's a lot of the colors that are available. Looks like almost everything that was ever made is available. That's quite interesting. And as you use the site on Parcel Up, and I put a link in the video description, you just click on the different pens. And as you can see, the picture on the left will change, and the description also changes. And you can also just click on the pen description to find the one that you want. So, like I said, I'll put a link in the video description. Parcel Up is not the easiest thing to use. And when you buy something, you pay shipping twice, one for in China shipping and one to the US. Could be expensive. Links in the description to the 2 reviews I did on my PenBBS 500 model pens, where I went into more detail. So for those that are interested, I suggest you watch those videos if you haven't already. So with that, I hope this video finds everyone safe, healthy, and happy, enjoying your pens, enjoying your life, enjoying the day. The weather has turned into fall here in the eastern part of the United States, and days recently have been beautiful fall days with a nice crisp sunlight, which is on the cool side. And after some brutal days that we had this summer where the sun felt like it was irradiating you with its heat, this is a very pleasant time of the year. At least I enjoy it quite a bit. Hopefully you can enjoy the weather in your part of the world. There are some parts of the world experiencing some extreme weather, and our hearts go out to them. We do what we can to help support them and recover from the effects of weather. Enjoy your pens, enjoy your life. Don't let things get you down, but understand that you may need to help out now and then. So with that, we've reached the end of this video. Thank you all for watching, and we will say bye. What would the next one be? I don't know.